Meeting to order Monday, June the 1st, Design Review Committee meeting. And again, why don't we let the members introduce themselves as well?
Martha Smirsky.
Hannah Smith.
Liz Pritchett.
And Steve Everett.
Okay.
And unless anybody has anything to offer ahead, Meredith, do you want to go through the normal procedure for the Zoom meeting?
Will do. I am going to share my screen so that people from home can see what's going on. Give me just 1 second. Sorry, it wasn't quite up. Okay, so I want to make sure the login information is available for anybody who's viewing via ORCA and wants to sign on. So due to the state of emergency declared by Governor Scott, pursuant to Executive Order 01-20 and Act 92, the Design Review Committee is authorized to meet electronically. So there's no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting. However, in accordance with temporary amendments to the open meeting law, we're providing public access to the meeting by hosting a video conference meeting via the Zoom platform. This includes both video and telephone access options. There's additional access offered through live streaming of the meeting via ORCA. All members of the Design Review Committee have the ability to communicate at the same time during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to listen and, if desired, participate to this meeting in real time. If you're on ORCA, you can visit this link and it will access you to the internet video options for Zoom. You can also call in using this phone number, 929-205-6099. Use this meeting ID and this password and log into the meeting. We've previously given notice to the public of the this information for accessing the meeting, and instructions are also available on the city's website on their pending applications for public hearings page. See that here. If anybody has problems accessing the meeting while they're in, sorry, not while they're in, if anybody has problems accessing the meeting, please email the meeting moderator, Mike Miller, at mmiller@montpelier-vt.org. And then if you're in the Zoom conference and are having problems accessing the Zoom meeting functions, you can message Mike through the chat function in Zoom. When you're logged into the meeting, you should have had an opportunity to tell the moderator which applications you wish to comment on. At this point, I don't think there's anybody new logged in, so we know who everybody is right now. And when the chair announces that the time for public comment for a particular application arrives, the moderator will unmute members of the public based on the order you submit your intent. Not that complicated for this one, because we just have a few applications. If you are interested in speaking and did not say you would like to speak previously, for those of you who have not yet logged in, please raise your hand if you're on the video option, or state your name when you unmute yourself. City staff will add you to the queue. Once the chair has recognized you to participate, the moderator will unmute your microphone to confirm that you've been heard. You're then free to provide questions or comments, aiming to keep them to 2 minutes. This is if you're a member of the public. Today, it looks like everybody we have on are applicants, so you won't be restricted to 2 minutes. For process, members will have the opportunity to respond or ask questions of you. If there is any public comment, applicant may have an opportunity to respond to that. And after you finish, your microphone will be muted. I'm just going to scroll down. Things are kind of simple today. We don't really have any but members of the public, it doesn't look like, coming on to talk. For the public that's out there, we will continue the meeting if for some reason public access functions fail, internet goes down in City Hall, something along those lines, then we'll continue the meeting to a time and place certain. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting that are not unanimous will be provided by or done by a roll call vote. I'm going to now hand the meeting back over to Steve. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, thank you, Meredith. Unless anybody has anything else to offer at this point, do we hear a motion to approve the agenda?
Hannah moves to approve the agenda.
Do I hear a second?
Liz.
All in favor of the agenda, speak your name.
Martha. Hannah.
Liz.
And Steve. Okay, we can go forward with the first application for 135 Main Street for Kellogg Hubbard Library. Is someone there to describe their application?
Hi, this is Jessie Lynn from the Kellogg Hubbard Library. Okay to proceed?
Yeah, Jesse, let me know if you want me to do share screen on your application or not. I think right now all I have is the one drawing of what the application looked like. I mean, I guess I'll pull that up for the public so that they can see it. And then you can talk about it a little bit and then we can go back out.
Sure, and I actually have a photograph of the exterior of the building if that's helpful to place this, because I realized we're sort of piecing things together because I've been mostly working from home and contractors are hard to get to our building at this point. So everything's a little bit more scattered than normal. So what we're looking at is obviously a drawn on impression of what the exterior condenser would look like on the outside of the library building. So this is on the addition that was done in the year 2000. It's not on the original historic building. And it's on the sort of the back side of the building that shares a wall, the wall facing the yellow Mangy's building, if that helps people place where the location is. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of tucked behind. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen a little bit of a row of lilacs. And then on the far end of this same wall is where our dumpster surround lives. So it's not a front-facing wall of the library, neither on the School Street side or on the Main Street side. So it is sort of tucked back and along a stretch that the lilacs wouldn't cover it directly, but it is sort of tucked between this row of lilacs and placed on the building. So the location off the ground would be 52 inches, and then it would be on mounted brackets that would stick out from the wall. And this unit would allow us to have cooling in our primary meeting room space, which it's hard to imagine now, and it will be a little while, but we often have meetings or program groups that can be anywhere from 50 to 75 people. And without any AC in that room, it's quite a steamy gathering spot. So this would finally give us the capacity to have cooling in that particular space. This is a granite facade, so it's not a full, complete piece of granite like in the historical section. And we would have to drill a hole that would be at least 1.25 inches to meet the electrical standard. So it would, I think one of the questions might be whether that could be done through the mortar. I think it would have to be, even if we did it in a mortar joint, it would have to include some of the granite facade piece. But of course, we want to do it as minimally as possible in terms of, impacting the actual wall. So that's, unless there's anything else that I can cover, I'm happy to answer any questions about this.
Can the wall mounting brackets and the service disconnect be mounted in the mortar joints so at least it doesn't disturb those granite pieces?
I would have to find out the answer to that question. I'm not sure myself. That's something that would be a better question probably directly for the contractor. I can certainly inquire about that and try to make that as much the possibility as I can. I'm not sure. I would assume that the brackets would have multiple, screw points, and so it wouldn't be able to be exclusively in the mortar to hold the weight of the condenser.
They should be able to get brackets in the size that if they need more than one screw attachment vertically, that maybe one attachment could be in one row of mortar joint and another attachment in another row, preferably behind the unit itself. And then as it shows on the sketch, I know that you have to run the refrigerant lines through the building. And the way it shows in the sketch, it would be nice if that could be in that narrow row of granite. And then the line set cover, the duct cover, could be a gray color to match the granite. That's about, I think, the least possible impact that it could have.
Yeah, it's definitely our plan to get the closest gray that we can to match. And from my understanding, it's also paintable. So if they're not able to get something very close, we can come up with something that we can paint over it to match as closely as possible.
This is Liz. I have a question. What are the dimensions of this unit?
That's a good question. I don't know that I have that myself. I'm just checking to see if I have anything from the instructor. I don't think that I have.
Well, it looks like if it's raised 52 inches above the ground, I don't know if that's to scale. If the unit itself might be about that same 52 inches, you know, from base to the top section. But I don't know.
I'd hate to throw out dimensions that if I'm not clear what they exactly are.
Right. I mean, it doesn't look too huge, really.
No, it's not that bad. I mean, I have photographs of other units. I don't know that this is at all something that you can see from this distance that were provided for other locations just to get a sense of scale. So here's a window and here's the unit. And that's very similar to the unit that we'd be looking at ourselves.
Ghastly, do you have those electronically? Because I can let you share your screen if you have them on your computer. If you know how to do that?
I do know how to share my screen. It would take me a few minutes to pull them up because it's, if that's really useful, I'm happy to do that.
I think that would be helpful.
What's up?
I think that would be very helpful.
Okay. You have to bear with me a few minutes.
No worries. And then just after the meeting, whatever you share, try to email to me so that we can put it in the file.
Okay. All right, so I think, Meredith, you'll have to unshare your screen so that I can share mine.
Yep.
All right, so here's that photograph that I was talking about that the contractor shared with me to give you a sense of something similar in size. It's also helpful for me to get a sense of what we're talking about in terms of the kind of the complete package. So you can see the, you know, the cover here. Obviously, we get something that would match our building exterior better, and then you have the service disconnect.
Are there windows around this, or is it pretty much a blank wall, at least around where this unit is?
There are windows to the right of it. So the two windows in the meeting room space are to the right of this unit.
That does help us visualize it.
Yes.
Yeah, this, let me just show you one other. So this is a sense of the mounting brackets. So it sits out from the wall a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Other questions that I can help answer?
Not
It
for
would
me.
just, it would just be nice, depending on the picture that you showed us, if any and all of the lines should be as compact as possible, just so it's not so spread out on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, I personally am really hoping it's as compact as possible. And when I saw the sort of the electrical run that went up and around the unit, that's not my understanding of what we're going to have in our. I think that was in relation to that particular building, but trying to keep this as compact as possible. But you have to have a certain amount of distance for the line set so that the unit functions properly. So there is that need for that. That duct cover that will go over a certain amount, but we'll do the minimum required.
You can also get the duct cover in different colors, and if you can get a gray, even if you have, depending on the material, whether it's a metal or an acrylic material, it can also be colored to match the granite as close as possible to make the unit look as discreet as possible.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well.
Because it's such a beautiful building, even the backside is attractive. So you just want to try to make as minimal an impact as possible and still be able to upgrade your utilities.
I agree completely.
Well, good. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do any other committee members have any suggestions or would like to make any comments? If not, we can go through the recommendation form. Evaluation criteria, I don't know if you have a copy of that, but I will read through it so that you can see what the evaluation criteria are. Number one is preservation or reconstruction of the appropriate historic style if the proposed projects in the historic district or involves an historic structure. Acceptable, again, with some of the recommendations. Harmony of exterior design with other properties in the district, acceptable. Compatibility of proposed exterior materials with other properties in the district, acceptable. Compatibility of proposed landscaping, none proposed, although you may want to put another lilac in front of the unit, but that's an option, it's not required. Prevention of the use of incompatible designs, buildings, color schemes, or exterior materials, acceptable. Location and appearance of all utilities, acceptable. Recognition of and respect for view quarters and significant vistas, including gateway views of the city and state house. The back of the building does not apply at this location. And again, our recommendations are that the condenser wall mount brackets should be attached in mortar joints between the granite blocks. And that should be able to be attained by using the proper size bracket and just mounting the attachments in the granite, in the mortar joints between the granite. Also, the service disconnect should also be mounted using mortar joints between granite blocks. And then the refrigerant line entry into the building hopefully could be made through the narrow blocks of granite shown in your sketch. And then it suggested the duct cover should be gray to match the granite color of the building as much as possible, again, to make this unit as discreet as possible. Any committee members have any other suggestions to offer? If not, one by one, members, please vote your acceptance or not of the application.
This is Martha. Yes.
Hannah says yes.
Liz says yes.
And Steve says yes. So it's unanimous.
Thank you all very much. Just because it's my first time in the design review committee, will the library receive a follow-up notification of those recommendations?
Yes, Jesse. So I'm going to send you a copy of the recommendation form that Steve just went through. Once he signs it and sends it to me. So then you can get that, either acknowledge it via email or sign it and scan it back to me, and then we'll send you a permit.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you all very much.
You're welcome,
Thank
Jesse.
you very much and good luck with your project. The next application is for 79 Berry Street, Woodbelly Pizza. Is anyone there from Woodbelly or Morningstar?
Yes. Go ahead, Vetch and or David.
Go ahead. So we've submitted a review for bringing our large oven to the front of the building, as well as several of our planter boxes to create a space around it. I think I actually have that application with me, but
If you give me a second, I can pull it up. I just need to get the right one. All right, so I'm going to go to the site plan that has the there you go. So this is the site plan you're talking about right now, right? With the oven and
Yep.
planter boxes, and you've got some fencing around to keep people away from the oven.
absolutely.
Okay. And then just let me know what else you want to see, show.
Again, this is the area in front of what used to be the auto parts store and the recycling.
Yes.
It's in an area in front of that facade that faces Berry Street.
It is.
Yep, it's opposite Bohemian Bakery, who have similarly used planter boxes to define outdoor seating for their customers.
Okay.
And then are you also, because we have them both, were you also going to be asking for to try and get permission to do the seating setup as well once you can do that and don't need the oven there? That was my sense from when you were applying for this, that you were doing sort of an alternate application for two different possible setups, so you didn't have to come back when you start being able to do the seating when you start moving this oven around. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is absolutely correct.
I think we will be back in front of you at some point, potentially as part of a change of use application, because that will also involve some alteration of the exterior of the building.
Yeah, my understanding, the change of use is part of what we're processing. That's just administrative. The design review is just worried about what's going on outside.
Okay.
I'm a little confused. This is Martha. When you have the picture with just the oven in the front, you don't expect to have any seating at that time?
No, so the idea would be that it's mostly walk up and take out.
Okay.
So no on-site eating.
Okay, I understand.
We don't yet have any on-site consumption anyway, so that's part of a longer-term plan.
What is the pop-up tent used for?
For shade.
Oh, for people that are waiting, or?
Mostly for the oven operator.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
I see, thank you.
So again, this is just for the location of the oven in front of that space with the planters along the side.
Yes, it is.
If we scroll down in the application, I think there are some photos of that space, and below that, the oven, which will go in that space. Yep, the planter boxes.
So there's 7 planter boxes.
Yes. There are 4 small squares, 2 rectangles, and then the L.
Okay.
And would the planter boxes be in the same place when you do the seating?
Slightly reorganized to better frame in outdoor seating,
Okay.
but more or less.
So those would not be permanently installed then?
No.
So everything there is just freestanding.
It is.
Either freestanding or on wheels.
Yes. And then again, you have space for 2 wood and metal tables, 4 chairs, and 2 umbrellas.
Yes. Just an approximation of the tables that we'll be making.
Will the umbrellas be mounted through a hole in the center of the table?
Yes, they will.
Oh, okay. Just a general question. So again, all of this is freestanding, either on chair legs, table legs, or on wheels for the oven.
Yes.
Any committee members have any comments, questions, or suggestions?
No?
I see lots of head shaking, Steve.
Okay,
No, I don't.
nodding, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, I can read through the criteria for this, and again, noting that all of this nothing's permanently attached. Number 1, preservation or reconstruction of the appropriate historic style if the proposed project's in the historic district or involves an historic structure. Again, due to the contemporary nature of this, because it's all freestanding, we'll call that acceptable. Harmony of exterior design with other properties in the district, acceptable. Compatibility of proposed exterior materials, acceptable. Compatibility of proposed landscaping, the planter boxes are fine, acceptable. Prevention of the use of incompatible designs, buildings, color schemes, or exterior materials, acceptable. Location and appearance of all utilities, no lighting proposed.
No permanent lighting. Anything would just be lights inside the tent to illuminate the workspace.
Okay, that's fine. And recognition of and respect for view quarters and significant vistas, including gateway views of the city and state house, acceptable. Committee members all in favor, speak your name.
Hold on. Let me unmute everybody because people are talking. There you go.
This is Martha. I say yes.
Hannah says yes.
Liz says yes.
And Steve says yes. So it's unanimous with 4 votes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Meredith, does this get administratively approved?
Yes, all of the applications tonight are administrative approval. So Vetch, you'll get, just as with the Kellogg Hubbard Library, I'll send you a copy of the recommendation form. In this case, there's no recommendations or anything on that. So you just need to let me know that you're good with it, acknowledge it via email that you've received it and you're happy with it, and then we'll send you the permit.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vetch. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much.
Have a wonderful night.
Hi.
Okay, we can move forward to the next application for Sarducci's Restaurant. And it's outdoor seating area proposal, including a tent. Is someone there from Sarducci's?
Yes, I'm here, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Carol.
Go ahead and describe your application for us.
Oops.
Oh,
Carol, I can't hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I just got what Steve said. Go ahead and describe. Okay. So, what I am hoping, is to have a tent in the front 7 parking spaces of the building. I was standing out there one day thinking, what am I going to do? Help. And all of a sudden it came to me that maybe I could put a tent there. So first I called Pomerleau, who's my landlord, and said, hey, what do you think about this? Because in my memory, it was his parking spaces, but I it was so long ago, I couldn't remember. Anyway, he said, yep, those are mine, but I have a deal with the city about maintenance with those. I think you should do it. Go, you have my blessing, so go ahead. And then I have a friend that works in South Hero at the Blue Paddle Bistro, and they got a tent, and she said it was wonderful. And so then I really wanted it. And so then I called either Meredith or Audra first and said, what do I do? And they were so helpful because I had no idea what to do. And Meredith has put up with me through the whole thing. So Vermont Tent Company can give me a tent. I got the numbers wrong initially. It's a 15 by 60 tent, and the parking lot is 63 by 18. So the tent is shorter than the end of the parking spaces and not as long as the whole thing. It can be weighted down with weights instead of stakes if the stakes are in the way, because we can't, I know we can't put the stakes only in certain places. So he can also do it with weights, and it's much less in the way or goes out of the bounds of what we want. Right now I have 4 little tables outside, and that's all I have for seating. And it's been wonderful and very popular. But I'm not going to make it with 4 tables. Trying to have a restaurant. So that's my hope.
How many tables can you place under the tent?
I can place between 6 and 8, depending on, right now he's having us be 10 feet apart. And if he moves it to 6 feet apart, I obviously could get more in there. But either 6 to 8, it depends how I actually put them. Like maybe I'm going to have a table of 6 and then a table of 2 and then a table of 4. I'll have to see exactly, but not more than 8 would be under there.
And again, the tent is 15 by 60?
Yes, it's 15 by 60, yeah.
Carol, this is Liz. Will there be any size to the tent in case it rains or is really windy?
Yes, both. It has sides that come down. You can just roll down the sides. And then the wind, Meredith asked me about the wind today, and it can sustain, I think he said up to 70 miles an hour, but at 38 miles an hour, you have to evacuate the tent. So, I'd have to know that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Carol, is the tent white?
The tent is white, and it's really pretty. Yeah, it's very, it's appealing to look at. It looks like one of those pretty wedding tents.
Yeah.
And will you be using the inside tables you have now on the outside?
I will. And I did send a picture. It's somewhere in my packet, I think.
I'll go back to it on the share screen.
Okay. It's just a basic table, and I'm going to use the same chairs that I had.
Okay. Do any of the committee members have any questions regarding the tent and seating?
No?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, then we can go through the criteria for the tent. Number 1, preservation and reconstruction of the appropriate historic style if the proposed projects in the historic district or involves an historic structure. The tent at this location is acceptable. Harmony of exterior design with other properties in the district, acceptable. Compatibility of proposed exterior materials with other properties in the district, acceptable. Compatibility of proposed landscaping, none applied for in this application, none added. Prevention of the use of incompatible designs, buildings, color schemes, or exterior materials, acceptable. Location and appearance of all utilities. Is there any lighting in the tent?
I'm going to use the little white lights, like little white twinkle lights, and that's really all I'm going to have is bringing those around.
Okay.
And there'll probably be, I hadn't really gotten this far, but candles on the tables if that's acceptable.
Sure, that's fine. Again, that's all temporary.
Yeah.
And we can just make a notation that there would be string light. I'm assuming string lights available inside the tent?
Yes.
Okay. And lastly, recognition of and respect for view quarters and significant vistas, including gateway views of the city and state house. Acceptable. Again, committee members, voice your approval by speaking your name.
This is Martha. I'm a yes.
Hannah says yes.
Liz says yes.
And Steve says yes.
Yay.
And your application is approved.
Thank you so much.
So
You're quite
Carol?
welcome.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch probably tomorrow, just because I've got to make sure I've got the rest of the comments from the other city staff about some of the other like safety issues we were talking about with like the barriers and things like that. But so it might be a little bit longer for you to get your permit than some of the other applicants tonight. We'll finish working out the exact conditions for it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Meredith.
Thank you, Carol. Good luck with your project.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye, Carol.
Bye.
Aye.
Nice to see you.
And has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from the May the 18th meeting?
Yes. This is Martha.
Yes.
Any comments, questions, or changes?
Nope. No.
If not, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
This is Martha. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I hear a second?
Liz.
All in favor of the minutes, again, speak your name.
Martha, yes.
Hannah, yes.
Liz, yes.
Steve, yes. The minutes are approved. Does anyone have anything else to add? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved. This is Hannah.
And I second it. This is Martha.
All in favor of adjournment, again, speak your name.
Martha, yes.
Hannah, yes.
Liz, yes.
And Steve, yes. The meeting is adjourned.
Woohoo!
Everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
That's okay. It was partially my difficulty because I've got two systems.